You're watching the Raiders Report, brought to you by BetDSI, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. My next segment up here is going to be around the Raiders versus the Cincinnati Bengals in this Week 15 matchup. When you're looking at the matchup, both teams are dead last in their divisions, but the Raiders have actually been playing much better over these last few weeks. Heck, I understand they lost to the Chiefs 40-33, but they played the Chiefs pretty tough. Then you look at the Bengals. The Bengals right now are playing horrible football. So I think that lines here, when you're looking at the overall betting lines, I think they're kind of interesting. So the Raiders sitting there at 3-10, Bengals at 5-8. The Bengals right now are 3.5-point favorites, according to BetDSI. And this line originally opened up as the Bengals as -3 favorites. And this one has kind of been in this just 3 to 3.5 range to me. And I don't really expect that to change all that much. I would say this, though. I would love to see what it would be if the Raiders were at home. The total over-under in this game is 46 points. And I think that's a little bit low. I mean, sure, their offenses aren't putting up a whole bunch of points. But at the end of the day, the defenses, as you're going to see in a little bit here, the defenses are really, really bad. If you're bad for Christmas, you're probably going to get a lump of coal. But hopefully, if you subscribe to the Raiders Reporter on YouTube, you'll be good. And then you can get some free Raiders gifts. Go to chatsports.com/bet. And if you want one of these awesome jackets, heck, you walk into a bar wearing one of these jackets, you're going to be cooler than freaking Ice Cube. Sign up and deposit at BetDSI and then DM at ChatSports on Twitter. And also, you get a Raiders jacket. And also, you're going to get some free money at BetDSI when you use that promo code LIVE120 and get that 120% deposit bonus at chatsports.com/bet. Can I see those beautiful jackets again? Woo! Man, free Raiders gifts, free money, and it's all thanks to BetDSI. Heck, maybe BetDSI is Santa Claus. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code LIVE120 for 120% deposit bonus. And then when you sign up and deposit, DM at ChatSports on Twitter with a nice little screenshot saying, hey, yeah, I did that. All right, now let's look ahead to some Raiders offense and Bengals comparisons, and shield your eyes because this is not very pretty. The Raiders, I would say actually statistically, or I would say right now, I think have the better offense, though the Bengals statistically have the better offense. But I think a Jeff Driscoll-led Bengals team is a worse offense than what the Oakland Raiders have. But if you think the offenses are ugly, well, viewer discretion is advised here when you're looking at these defenses because this is ugly. Like, pass yards per game, the Raiders 18th, but then rush yards per game, both teams in the bottom 2. Turnovers per game, not so good either. And you're talking about sacks. Oh, my Lord, no sacks. Well, a lot of sacks are cool for these guys. And then points per game, 29.8 for the Raiders, 31st in the league. And then 30.5 for the Bengals, 32nd in the league. Two really bad defenses. That's why the 46 over-under, I'm definitely taking the over. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report brought to you by BetDSI. And if you want to get on the show on my Raider Nation rumors, you got to subscribe below to youtube.com/Raiders Report. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell literally anybody on the street to subscribe to youtube.com/Raiders Report. The more people that subscribe, the more videos I can do. So if you want to see me and the Raiders Report more, subscribe below, youtube.com/Raiders Report. I got 5 keys to this game, and I wanted to do 5 keys because last week I did 5 keys for the first time, and the Raiders got a W. So hopefully the Raiders can get a W this week. My first one, don't let Joe Mixon beat you. Joe Mixon, I think, is the only good player on offense that the Bengals have right now. But if you ask Stephen A. Smith, heck, he might say A.J. Green. So do not let Joe Mixon beat you. And Week 14 against the Chargers, 26 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. But he led the team with 31 total touches. I want to see the Raiders basically, I don't want to say QB spy, running back spy Joe Mixon, and don't let him get away from you. Make Jeff Driscoll beat you. Jeff Driscoll is athletic. I was going to say talented. He's an athletic quarterback, but they don't have a lot of pieces around him right now. So if we can just center our attention and our full defensive attention on Joe Mixon, I really think the Raiders are going to be able to win this game. So over under 100 total yards for Joe Mixon versus the Raiders this week. The Raiders are giving up about 145 rushing yards per game. So over under 100 total yards for Joe Mixon versus the Raiders. Type O for over or type U for under, and don't get mad at me. But I'm actually starting Joe Mixon in my fantasy league this week, so I'm going to say over. All right, next key to the game here. Kick them while they're down. And Mitch, what does that mean? Kick the Bengals while they're down. They've lost 5 straight games. They started the season off at 4-1, and I thought they were one of the best teams in the AFC North. Like, they were playing really well. Then you lose Andy Dalton, you lose A.J. Green, and now the defense, apparently Andy Dalton and A.J. Green play defense because the defense has just been an absolute wash ever since. So let's keep kicking them while they're down. And talking about kicking, I just thought, we'd have a little bit of fun here. Where would you rather get kicked? I want you to react. I want you to type, or I want you to give me a wow face for face or a laughing face for the family jewels. If you're on YouTube, where would you rather get kicked? Comment face or family jewels. I want to know from you. Let's have a little bit of fun once in a while, right? Next one coming up here. Speaking of family jewels, Carr needs to stay hot, right? So Derek Carr continues to play well, and he's playing well with, I'll say, pieces where I was kind of surprised are playing. I mean, at the beginning of the year, you're talking about Amari Cooper, Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant, and Amari obviously are no longer on the team. And Carr continues just to get better. I think he's definitely growing with John Gruden. I mean, Week 14 versus Steelers, 322 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the dude hasn't thrown an interception since Week 5. And I had some guys say, Mitch, you've said that like 4 straight weeks. I've actually probably said it 8 straight weeks because he hasn't thrown an interception since Week 5. And when you're looking at the last 7 weeks, 105.8 QBR. If you don't realize how good that is, the all-time QBR leader is Aaron Rodgers with 103. Like, Derek Carr has been exceptional these past 7 weeks, and I think he deserves a little bit more credit. So I said he hasn't thrown an interception since Week 5. So is he going to throw an interception versus the Bengals this week? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. I'm going to type my N for no. If he's going to throw an interception, I would hope it's not against the Bengals, who are the worst defense right now in the NFL. So will Carr throw an interception versus the Bengals? Type Y for yes or type N for no. My next key to the game is finish drives, and I had this one on last weekend. I think for the most part, the Raiders finished their drives pretty well. Sure, they had one costly fumble there by Carr, but at the end of the day, they got touchdowns and 1 field goal. And, well, Chris Boswell totally blew a field goal at the end of the game, but the Raiders in this game, when they get down there, when they get down in the red zone, they need to get 6s and not 3s, because when they've done that this year, they've played a lot better, and also it gives their defense a little bit more of a rest. My next, I want you guys to show your love to me. Can I get a hashtag Raiders in the comments? I absolutely love when you guys share your insights with me on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, and I would definitely appreciate, can I get a hashtag Raiders in the comments? And heck, can you also guys subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We would appreciate that. All right, I got some free gifts for you if you want to get your hands on this Raiders Derek Carr jersey or some Raiders kicks. This is what you got to do. You got to sign up and deposit with our sponsor, BetDSI. Go to chatsports.com/bet. And remember to use that promo code LIVE120. Once you do that, once you sign up and deposit, DM at chatsports on Twitter with a nice little screenshot that you signed up if you want those free Raiders gifts. And we're giving away jerseys, we're giving away shoes, but also get yourself some free money. You want some free money? Go to chatsports.com/bet. Put down $50, get $60 for free. Put down $500. Get $600 for free when you use promo code LIVE120. Free money, and also you can get your hands on that beautiful Derek Carr jersey. And those kicks, man, I'm wearing them right now. They are unbelievably comfortable. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Remember to use that promo code LIVE120. Sign up and deposit. Again, at chatsports.com/bet, and then DM us on Twitter at chatsports. Got it? Sounds good. Happy holidays. My last key to the game. Win the turnover battle. When you look at both these defenses, they're not good. And if we can win the turnover battle and not basically set up our defense to fail and set up their defense to fail, I think that's ultimately what could really win this game. Now, the Bengals have forced 15 turnovers, and the Raiders have only forced 13. But like I said before, when both teams are struggling, if you can give a team that's struggling a short field, that's not what you ultimately want to do. And I think when you watch Derek Carr, he's been taking care of the ball, and if you can make Jeff Driscoll turn the ball over a little bit more, I think that would be a lot better. So, react. Who will win the turnover battle this week? I want you to give me a heart for Raiders or a like for Bengals. If you're on YouTube, just comment below Raiders or Bengals. Now we'll do a nice little recap of my keys to the game here. Don't let Joe Mixon beat you. Joe Mixon is the best player on offense for the Bengals. Do not let him beat you. Kick them while they're down. Keep kicking the Bengals while they're down. They've lost 5 straight games. Have not been all that great these last few weeks and are the worst defense in the NFL. Carr needs to stay hot. If Carr can keep throwing the ball around like he's been, I think the Raiders are ultimately going to win this game. Finish drives. 6s, not 3s. Real life and in football. Win the turnover battle. Limit your turnovers. Don't let the defense, or don't screw your defense. And ultimately, if you win the turnover battle, I think you're ultimately going to win the game. Here's some more betting lines here for the Oakland Raiders. The line, again, opened up at -3 for the Bengals, and the Bengals right now are -3.5 favorites. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take the Raiders to cover that line. And even if the Raiders don't win, I think that they're at least going to not lose by a field goal. So I'm going to bet on the Raiders there. And also the over-under, 46 points. When you're looking at the two worst defenses in the NFL, both giving up more than 29 points per game, sure, their offenses aren't through the roof good, but I mean, when your defenses are that bad, I'm going to take the over. So I want to know from you, predict the score, okay? Raiders at the Bengals, and nobody has gotten this right yet. It is week 15, and nobody has gotten the score right yet. It's probably because the Raiders have been so unpredictable. So correct pick gets $25 from me. So all you got to do is DM me on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365, and I'm going to hook you guys up, okay? So DM me at Mitchell Renz 365. Predict the score, Raiders at Bengals. Oh, I just got a DM right now from some chick who said she's watching me on the Raiders Report and said that I look good in my Mizzen+Main shirt. And if you guys want to look good too, go to comfortable.af and get yourself a Mizzen+Main shirt. They're the perfect holiday gift, perfect stocking stuffer. Stuff them in your stocking. They're not going to get wrinkled up because it is impossible to get these shirts wrinkled. So I got to get going because I want to go on this date with this girl. So I'm not going to be back on Sunday, unfortunately. I'm going to Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, you want to grab a beer, DM me on Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. And go Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.